Third and 6, Goff. Across St. Brown to the end zone. Detroit touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, score 1 of the season.
What up, though? Welcome back to another episode of Full Metal Analysis. I am your host, Bruce Diggy. I got my co-host, MJ Detroit Marcus. What's going on with you, man? Happy Thanksgiving to y'all. Hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving. Do you have a good Thanksgiving, man?
I did, man. It was a great week. I was off all week, and sad to see it go.
I know, right? Got to get prepared for the other holidays. But what can I say about these Detroit teams? They did not have a great Thanksgiving, man. The Lions lost to the Green Bay Packers. The Pistons are doing their thing by losing every game they possibly can. And the only upbeat is the Red Wings have won like 5 games in a row. I heard. I haven't been watching them, but I heard they won like 5 games except for last night. But what do you want to talk about first, man? These Lions?
Yeah, we go ahead and talk about the Lions. What was that? Green Bay. I know going into the game, I said I couldn't conjure up any respect for Green Bay. And they came in here, they took it to us. I heard an interview with Dan Campbell, and he put it in he couldn't have put it better, man. He said Jordan Love. He said he's watched a lot of Jordan Love not highlights, but he's watched a lot of Jordan Love film, and he said that's the best he's ever seen Jordan Love play.
Yeah, man, I was just about to say that, man. That's the best I've ever seen Jordan Love play, man. He came out, he had a hell of a game. I cannot fault him on the game that he played against us, man. He was up there outstanding. And we played bad. We played really bad. I mean, the defense did all right, but once again, no pressure. When no pressure, then the cornerbacks struggle. So and then all the turnovers, we've had 7 turnovers in 2 weeks, and not to mention all the turnovers we've had all season. The turnovers are a problem, man.
Yeah, the turnovers are definitely you especially when you lose the turnover battle that dramatically. Goff had 3 interceptions the week prior, and we shouldn't have won that game, but we did. And then you fumble it 3 times. You shouldn't win that game, and we didn't. I don't know if it's I don't know what it is. A part of me deep down, conspiracy Marcus, is wondering if the arrival of Hendon Hooker is kind of generating some pressure on Goff to where he's kind of looking over his shoulder and starting to second guess some things that he's doing out there.
If it is, and like people were saying that before, like they didn't want to draft a quarterback because they didn't want to rattle Goff. And I'll say the same thing that I thought when I heard that back then. If Goff is getting rattled because we drafted a quarterback that he's soft as hell, and we don't need him here anyway, because somebody drafting a quarterback should inspire you to do better. Like, you know what I'm saying? That guy will never take my spot. So, I mean, I was starting to come to respect Goff a little bit, and if that is the problem, then the respect I am gaining for him, it took a hit.
Yeah, we'll never know the real answer to it. I think the best gauge for it is basically how they go out and play New Orleans this Sunday. I can't talk bad about New Orleans because when I talk bad about Green Bay and Chicago, they came out and hit us in the mouth. So I'm not gonna talk bad about New Orleans. They have I'm always told they got a good defense, and Cam Jordan is a staple over there. But their defense, I'm not gonna talk bad about them, but I've been told they got a defense, and Derek Carr is a try-hard guy. You might see like some Jamal Williams revenge game, even though they got Kamara back, so they're gonna use him in spurts. And Look out for man, I just forgot his name. But look out for that wide receiver, man. He's a big play guy. And
Olave.
no, not Olave. Olave is a solid guy. But I think you said Olave out, right?
He's questionable. I mean, he is not sure if he's passing concussion protocol or not. He might not.
That's a rough one, especially if he ain't practiced yet and he's still in concussion protocol. Usually that's not a good sign if you're gonna play. If you're gonna play. But I'm thinking of Rashid Shaheed.
I heard about him.
Yeah, he's a rookie, but he's like a boomer bust, big play or no play type player.
Yeah, man. The way I feel about New Orleans, man. I feel like this the same way I feel like about the Lions, man. I was really high on them at the beginning of the season, but as they play, they have disappointed a lot. You know what I'm saying? And it all depends on what team shows up. I feel like the Lions are the same way. I feel like the Lions can be any team you put in front of them. Not to say that the Saints are on that same level. I don't think they can be any team you put in front of them, but it depends on what team showed up. There's a bad team and there's a good team that could show up. So it depends on which one of those teams decide to show up. Because when I think the Saints are going to win, they lose, and when I think they're going to lose, they win. So I don't know what to think about the Saints, man. I definitely think we can come out here and beat them. I don't think the Saints are as good as us, but once again, it depends on, is it going to be that Lions team that showed up the last few weeks? Because me personally, I don't think it's just the last 2 weeks that we've been playing bad. Our defense has been playing bad since the Ravens game, and I think the only really good game that our offense has had has been in the Chargers game. So it just depends on what team shows up on both sides for me.
Another thing Dan Campbell said in that interview was they asked him if we was going to see Bruce Irvin. He said it's a possibility. He said no guarantees. They asked me if Anzalone was going to play, and based on his answer, it sounds like a no. So we already struggle with tight ends as it is. So they got Taysom Hill. But Taysom Hill's kind of obviously he's an all-purpose guy. But they also got Juwan Johnson. He's a pretty big tight end. He can high point the ball. So I mean, I'm like I said, I'm gonna go over not disrespecting the Saints. I'm gonna go ahead and give some of the reasons why they are a good team as far as their offense. Obviously, they got Alvin Kamara. Always a threat in the backfield. Like I said, Juwan Johnson, tight end. You gotta look out for the when they put Taysom Hill and the Wildcat. Rashid Shaheed, like I said, is a deep threat playmaker. So I mean, they do got some weapons on offense. So it's definitely and you in New Orleans, always a tough place to play. And their defense is tough. They got a tough physical defense.
Yeah. Also, on the defensive side, like you mentioned, they got Cam Jordan. They got the Honey Badger out there. They got Kenny Lattimore. I don't know if he's playing or not, but they are leading the league. Not leading the league. I think they're fourth in the league in turnovers, which we just said we have a problem with. But Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson were saying that they were working with Goff, even though I heard that while they were working on the turnover drills, he tripped over some shoulder pads. So I don't know how that went, but they said they're working on taking care of the ball. So yeah, man, we just got to come out and the one thing that I do like that I've been hearing from the coaching staff is that this second half of the season, and Dan Campbell has been saying that he wants to play his best football in December, and I just heard Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn say it as well, that now is the time they got to put it together. Second half of the season, they got to put it together and play good football in December, because that's when it counts the most. So we'll see what they do with it, man. If they can pull it together and be that team that we saw at the beginning of the year, or if they're going to be that team that we've been seeing the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think this game is a great gauge as to what they're going to do. I think going forward, so we got the Saints this Sunday. I think this is a pretty winnable game. It's a game that if you got playoff aspirations, you should be able to go down there. It's going to have a playoff type feel to it. I'm not sure what the Saints record is, but I know they are fighting. I'm sure. I think they're still alive for the NFC South division. So it's going to have a little bit of a playoff feel to it. I don't think it's going to be easy by any stretch. I know I'm not a big Saints fan, but I think the Saints are going to give you a real good shot.
I've always liked the Saints. I think that our schedule has flipped. We thought we had an easy path to the end of the season. We thought we had one of the easiest schedules in the NFL towards the end of the season. I think that's flipped some because the Saints, like I said, they're not an easy win. We got the Bears again. We saw how we struggled against the Bears. We got to play the Vikings twice. The Vikings have been looking promising these past couple of weeks. The Cowboys and Denver are both looking good as well. So that went from an easy schedule to I don't know. And we are gonna have to do what the coaches said and play our best football if we want to compete in the postseason. And one of the things that I don't know if it's going to be a blessing in disguise or a hindrance to us. You mentioned that Alex Anzalone is going to be out. So in order to replace Alex Anzalone, I think they said Jack Campbell is going to be taking a spot. Jack Campbell has been missing a couple of tackles, and he made a couple of mistakes in coverage. But at the same time, he wasn't playing his position. He's playing a different linebacker position. He's going back to his native position to replace Alex Anzalone. And we have to see if Malcolm Rodriguez and Derek Barnes is going to step up to replace those guys. What do you think about Jack Campbell taking over the middle linebacker spot?
I think it'll be good. Like I said, I'm not real big on our defense. I think our defense is a weaker part of our team than you do. I think it'll be good to get Jack Campbell out there. I know they've been moving around, just trying to find him somewhere to play on the field so he can get some experience and help the team where he can. So it'll be good to have him back at that linebacker position where he was drafted to play. When I see Campbell out there, I don't feel like he's a liability. I was trying to remember it. I can't remember what it was, but the biggest thing I feel like in sports, pretty much for me, you might get like a handful of opportunities to show that you deserve to be out there playing or in the position you in. And I want to say it was that Chicago game, and Justin Fields had broke out the pocket and he was scrambling. It had to be Justin Fields because I can't think of anybody else that we played in the past two games that was shifty. But whoever it was somebody that was shifty, and I think it was Fields, and it was him and Jack Campbell one-on-one, and he tried to juke him, and Jack Campbell held his ground, and he made the tackle. And that right there, that was enough for me to give him the green light. So I'm not really concerned about Campbell being out there. Like I said, it's a bunch of plug and play on that defense as far as I'm concerned. So I think it'll be all right.
Well, even though I mentioned that he's been making mistakes, he is the second leading tackler on our team. And Aaron Glenn has had great things to say about him, so I agree with you. I think that he will be okay. And now that he's back in his native position at middle linebacker, maybe that will give him the spark he needs to be comfortable and playing and not make as many mistakes as he's been making in the past couple of games. Um, excuse me. I also wanted to mention you mentioned Bruce Irvin, man. Bruce Irvin, he's got to be good, right? I mean, his name is Bruce, so I mean, no, but for real, I think he had like 3 sacks this year. Do you think Bruce Irvin can? I think Dan Campbell. The reason he wasn't playing was Dan Campbell said that he wasn't in playing shape. If he's going to be playing this year, then that means he's probably got into playing shape now. Do you think that he can come in and give this defensive line some kind of spark, man? Because we need something, man. I mean, even if he gets another 3 sacks in these 6 games, that should be enough to spark something, right?
I mean, I could roll with you on the spark thing if he's able, because I think that's about as much as he's gonna get out of him. So if you can get one good game out of him, I think that would be the spark that you're talking about. You know, if he comes out there and just puts it on the line, if he gives you 2 good games, I think the signing was worth it because I think that would be enough to spark it. You really wish that he would be able to hold it down until Houston got back, but we don't have any idea when Houston's gonna get back.
I think they said at the end of December, I think.
Yeah, it just seems like this injury is a little bit more than what they expected when they first diagnosed it. So hopefully, like I said, Irvin can hold it down until reinforcements arrive, and if he could do that, then yeah, the signing was well worth it.
Speaking of signings, a couple of cornerbacks were released. Marcus Peters and Shaq Griffin. I don't know if the Lions are making moves to try to obtain these two guys, but they are available. From what I hear, the Lions are not talking to them though. But I don't know. Still got time in the week. Maybe Brad Holmes does something because uh, I've been hearing. I mean, I've been watching a couple of shows, and they've been saying that we need depth at cornerback, and I agree with that because if Cam Sutton, like with Alex Anzalone going out, luckily we got Jack Campbell, but at cornerback, if Cam Sutton or Jerry Jacobs gets hurt, we have nobody. I mean, we got Will Harris, but I mean that's like having nobody.
So you a big CJ Gardner Johnson, Deuce 22
Yeah. Yeah. I like him. I like him.
Yeah. And man, I gotta say that is the most out of character signing that the Lions have had in years. I can't think of a more out of character signing than that guy. And when you said Shaq Griffin, for some reason my mind went to the Buccaneers, but I just looked it up, and it's my man from the Seahawks. And Shaq Griffin, Marcus Peters, and CJ Gardner Johnson, those guys are your prototypical defensive back in the NFL. They hard hitters, they're big talkers, very boisterous and outspoken. And when you look at our cornerbacks, like take for instance, look at Cam Sutton. I don't think I've ever heard Cam Sutton talk. I saw Jerry Jacobs on ESPN earlier in the season, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's Jerry Jacobs, huh? I've never seen that guy or heard that guy talk before." And the Marcus Peters of the world and the Shaq Griffins. Shaq Griffin is I haven't kept up with Shaq Griffin, but as far as I know, he can't be that. I know he's younger than Marcus Peters, and he always held it down in Seattle. So I would personally like Shaq Griffin, but I don't think there's any chance that we grab either of those guys because I don't think that they fit the they fit the regime.
Cam Sutton, I've seen Cam Sutton in a couple of interviews when he first got here. He's a real laid back guy, smart guy. You know what I'm saying? Real laid back. You know what I'm saying?
Laid back.
Real.
That sounds about Lions, right?
But he's got a leader quality to him. So he does
I
have
say
leader.
they definitely like leaders. They don't like, they don't like people that are rough around the edges.
By the way, I would love for the Lions to resign CJ next year because he started out and it looked like he was going to be electric, and then he tore his pec, and we never got a chance to see it. But I felt like it was a different defense when he was in the game. They were a lot more electric. He was talking. He got other guys around him talking, and they were a different defense then. And I think they just lost some of that spark over the season. So I would like to see a guy like that plugged in. But I just wanted to know what you thought about it. Other than that, man, what do you think we do against the Saints? What's your score prediction?
I think it's a pretty tight game. But I guess I would say like Lions 23, Saints 19.
Oh, that's a high score. Yeah. I was gonna say 24-14. So I think we right around the same ballpark. Yeah, man. Is there anything else you want to add about the Lions, man? I think we hit all the cylinders on them. Anything else about the Green Bay game or anything you want to add?
Nah, that's all I got about the Lions, man. I could definitely talk about the Pistons.
I know you've been waiting for this. All right, man. Let's get into it. The Pistons have been doing horrible, man. I tried to tune in to the Pistons game because I have not been watching basketball for the last couple of years because I lost the NBA made me lose my passion for it, but I was going to try to get back into it this year. I tried. The Pistons are on some weird network, weird workout network, Valley Sports, which I thought was a gym, not a TV channel, and I could not get access to them. But I did follow along on the sports app, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't get that. I'm glad I didn't get the app because they got blew out. It wasn't close. Every time I saw that the Pistons scored, the Lakers scored 3 more.
Hey man, what can I say about the Pistons that hasn't already been said? I'm not gonna pile on the Pistons. The whole world knows the Pistons are terrible. I don't even really know what to say about the Pistons. The only thing that I can say is where we go moving forward. And the same way that I said that the Lions, they got a certain type of player that they like to grab. They like Tracy Walker is about as edgy as the Lions are going to get. And during this offseason, I talked about the Pistons grabbing somebody edgy. Instead, they went out and they made Monty Williams the highest paid coach in the NBA. I think somebody surpassed him. I think Pop got an extension or something like that. So now he's the highest paid. But nevertheless, right now the Pistons are terrible. And it's like, you kind of look back and say, like, how did we get here? And I remember when Stan Van Gundy was the GM, it was we made the playoffs a couple times, got swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers and got swept by the Bucks. But it just the thing that hurts me the most is that you look back in the past like 3-4 years and all the people that left Detroit are like salvageable, solid NBA players. And that's one thing that we, for some reason, can't seem to get on our team right now is just solid, salvageable, professional players. We got all these young guys, and the veterans that we do have are hurt.
Hmm.
Oh, and when that happens, you stare down and you look and you have you look up and you got a 2-15 record.
So, check this out, man. So, okay, is it the players or it's got to be something else, man? Because, um, okay, like you just said, we've had we've had good players, and those players have gone on and somewhere else, and they've become salvageable. They've gone on to other teams and had success, right? And the players that we got now have talent, and I've even heard that a lot of the teams that beat us, we were better than those teams, and we still losing. So if Monty Williams is the second highest paid, I know it doesn't happen like magic, but if Monty Williams is the second highest paid coach in the league, I mean, since you have seen some change in the talent that we have, because it seems to me like what is looking like is the talent that we have right now are going to go somewhere else and be successful. I mean, it's got to be some type of something happening above the players that is making us bad like this. I mean, I know I saw a video earlier today, and and the guy was saying, you said we talked about it a little bit off camera. You said that you couldn't watch the video because the guy was screaming, but he was pointing out that they're not playing defense. They're not in the correct position through screens and other plays. They're not playing it correctly, and that seems like a coaching thing to me, not a talent thing. Or is it just that Monty is teaching the right things, but the players aren't doing it.
The one thing you said that I disagree with is that, and I know you said this is what you heard, but you said that a handful of these teams that we've played, we shouldn't have lost to because we're better. We have more talent than those teams, and I disagree with that. I've been arguing that the Pistons have the worst talented roster in the NBA, and it's showing. That's to answer your question. That's why you're 2-15. You could grab, you could get Monty Williams, and you get Greg Popovich as your assistant coach. And you get Steve Kerr as the offensive coordinator of the team, and you go and Red Auerbach. You put together an all-star cast, but for me as a basketball fan, I've always felt like if I'm gonna bet on a game, I want to bet on the best player on the court. That's the team that I want to bet on. And it might be, and sometimes if you have a more talented team going against that guy, okay, you got a chance, circa going to work Pistons, right? But as a rule of thumb, I'm betting on the most talented player on that court. And the final nail in the coffin for a lot of Pistons fans was losing to the Washington Wizards, who are 2-15, because they also are terrible. So it's like, well, we're better than the Wizards. We got more talent than the Wizards. But the question is, do we? I don't know, because on that given day, and you could debate it. I mean, I would say, hey, if you told me that, I'd be like, yeah, I can see that. Kyle Kuzma, Flint native, he's back in Michigan. Kyle Kuzma went ham on the Pistons, and Kyle Kuzma is a forgotten name in the NBA. He's like a mid-tier caliber player, but on that court that night, he was the best player that night. And there are very few teams that we're gonna go out there and Cade Cunningham is gonna be the best player on the court on that night.
Okay, so another thing that I've been hearing is that I don't know when the trade deadline is, but I know you were flirting with the idea of trading Cade Cunningham. Could we trade Cade Cunningham and maybe one other player and get some picks out in free agency, or get somebody in free agency to spark this team? Or maybe also another idea you had was, maybe let Ivy run the point and put Cade at shooting guard. What are some things coming up that you think the Pistons will do or should do to get this thing turned around?
The two things that I would do, one is drastic, one is less drastic. The most drastic thing that I would do is I would trade Cade, and I would trade everybody. And if I could keep, and who I would keep would be, I would keep Asar Thompson and Jalen Duren. But if I could get something real good for Duren, I would give him up too. Like I said, I was looking at the mock draft, and they had the Pistons taking a center that could shoot. And I don't really want to have two bigs out there if they both can't shoot. And the center looks like he's about 7. I don't know. He looks like 7'2", 7'3". I don't know. I got to look back and see, but he's taller than Duren, so I don't really want my center, being my power forward. And yeah, it's just I have to get rid of somebody. It's too much for me. So that's what I would do. I would trade everybody. I would try to get some type of. I would try to get as many draft picks as I could, or I was listening to somebody else and they brought up that Indiana Pacers, they had their rookie. I think they had him for like 2 years. Tyrese. No, my bad. The Sacramento Kings, they drafted Tyrese Halliburton, but they was kind of crowded in their backcourt because they got another star in De'Aaron Fox, and it was just 2 point guards basically on the same team. But Halliburton, he had a good start to his career, and boom, they traded him for Domantas Sabonis, a power forward. Worked out for both teams. Halliburton is thriving in Indiana, and Sacramento Kings are relevant again. So it was basically a star for a star trade. If the Pistons were to do that, I would be cool with that. So number one, I would trade everybody, including Cade, and get I would get draft picks, or if I could get a star out of there, I would too. But think about getting a star is you got to get them to stay in Detroit, and that's a difficult thing to do with the culture we got right now. The other thing that's less drastic is I was looking at old Pistons teams back when Joe Dumars first took over, and basically Joe just went out there and he just got a bunch of veterans. He flipped the roster, got a bunch of veterans, a lot of guys that could play, but nobody really believed in. And he just got them in, and they worked the system, and they made it to the second round of the playoffs that year. And that's what I would do. I was looking at the free agents, and there's a lot of free agents coming up. The thing about the NBA, man, is a lot of people re-sign with their teams, but this offseason, man, I would throw money. But it's got to be. So in football, I was trying to get the edgy guy in football, and I did want him in basketball. But the thing is, with this culture, you need like professional, like you said, like Cam Sutton, like laid back leaders, professional, not very, just people that's
level-headed captains,
level-headed guys that's gonna come in there and get the job done, because right now you got a bunch of young guys that don't seem to take well to leadership.
Well, I mean, couldn't you just get a couple of those guys, veterans, to lead the younger guys? I mean, isn't that what you do to develop younger players? I mean, like, because if you got to trade all of your players, man, you may as well just sell the franchise and start off with an expansion team. I mean, like,
Mm, yeah, no, not necessarily. Like I said, back when the Pistons won, you know, the guys so that team that I talked about, the 2001 team had like John Barry and Cliff Robinson and Chucky Atkins and Jerry Stackhouse. Like those were the guys that got them to the second round of the playoffs. And when they
right.
won the championship, none of those guys were there. The coach wasn't even there. They got rid of the coach. So, but what they did was they took the players that they had and they cashed in on them. And I was listening to another podcast, and my man brought up a great point that I always say, which is, the biggest danger when you say stuff like, oh, trade him, and then the rebuttal is, oh, well, you got to give him time. The biggest danger is when you give people time. If it doesn't work out, you've also given the league time to see the same things that we see. So like when the guy was a mystery, like, oh, maybe he'll be good or maybe he won't be good. Well, the same time that you took to see if he would be good or not good, the league saw that too. So now there's no secret. Now nobody wants this guy. Like, yeah, we all know that he's bad. And that's what which rolls right into the next thing. Troy Weaver has made a reputation of grabbing all these guys that were busts. He's picked up like 3 lottery picks that their teams didn't want them, and he picked them up to see what they had, and they've been busts. And that's the help that you brought in for Cade. So it's just tough, man. And I'm not saying fire Weaver right now because it just won't be a point. But I am saying that at the end of the year, he might want to start looking for a new job.
So you said what you think they would do. Realistically, what do you feel will actually happen? And speaking of firing Troy Weaver, a lot of people are upset that the owner hasn't spoke out about what's going on with the Pistons. They think that he should be a lot more vocal. Do you think the owner should step up and talk about what his plans are for the future of the team? A lot of people are comparing what Sheila did with the Lions when they were 1-6. She came out, spoke out about what she felt about the franchise, and after that, the Lions made a big turnaround. So, what are your feelings on the upper echelon of the Pistons, and what do you think will happen in later on in around the trade deadline, like realistically?
Realistically, there's no reason why the Pistons couldn't go out and get Zach LaVine from the Bulls. Some stuff I heard about that was Zach LaVine is not a winner. He's never won anything in his career, which is true. And Zach LaVine is like 29, which somebody said that doesn't fit the timeline. But both of those, I think both of those are crazy. What if the Pistons won? Pistons haven't won anything. Zach LaVine is a veteran in this league. Zach LaVine is respectable. And then somebody else compared it to the Blake Griffin trade. To which I was talking to somebody today, and I told him that as far as the Blake Griffin trade, William Shakespeare couldn't have made a bigger tragedy than the Blake Griffin trade, because while everybody hates on Blake Griffin for how he just came here and the Pistons tanked, but if you look at it in reality, Blake Griffin didn't want to come here. He got forced into that trade. The Clippers organization betrayed him. He signed that contract, and they turned around and gave it to Detroit. At the same time, they fleeced Detroit, got picks, Tobias Harris, I can see Avery Bradley. They fleeced Detroit, and don't get me wrong, Blake came here and he gave it his all, and then his knee went out, and that ended his career, and it ended the Pistons. The Pistons haven't been right since.
Right.
So it didn't benefit Blake. It didn't benefit the Pistons. Stan Van Gundy was out of a job. Like, it destroyed the Pistons. So to answer your question, I will go out and get Zach LaVine. That way you could keep Cade at the 1. Zach LaVine could play at the 2. Zach LaVine is a prolific scorer. And he would be the leader of this team. I know everybody wants to be Cade's team, and at some point it will be, but right now Cade is not ready. But what do I think is going to happen? I don't think that's going to happen. I think they trade Killian Hayes. What do you get for Killian Hayes? I would love to know what you get for Killian Hayes. I'm excited to see what we get for Killian Hayes because it's going to make me laugh. But I think they trade Killian Hayes. I think Bojan Bogdanovic comes back. I told you in the last podcast, I think it was, that once Bogdanovic gets back, I think they win like 6 or 7 games out of the next 20, which I said it wasn't a lot, but it's, they haven't won a game in all of November, which is crazy. As far as the owner, I mean, people are just talking crazy now. Like, and I don't blame them. Like, this is the Pistons have done to like basketball fans. Just people are just talking crazy. And they're just looking for anything. I mean, come on, like, think about it, man. The owner went out and he made Monty Williams, who was the hottest. In a way, he was the hottest coach on the market. And he went out and made him the highest paid coach in basketball. Why? Like, there's no other reason why, because then like he was trying to make the team better. And he doesn't know how to make the team better because obviously he's not he's not a big basketball fan. So he was just like, oh, well, what can I do? Oh, Monty Williams is out there. Oh, he did good with the Suns. The Suns used to suck. Oh, okay. Well, give him whatever he wants. Like, I mean, his thing is throw money at the problem and hope it fixes it. But at the same time, he gave Troy Weaver an extension because he thought Troy was doing a good job for some reason. So I mean, Gorse doesn't know basketball, and until he sells the team, all you could hope is for him to just keep throwing money when it's needed. But you can't throw money. At players, the same money you throwing at players, other teams are throwing at them too. So I don't know. I don't know what the owner could come out, but the only thing I'm looking for the owner to do is fire Weaver this offseason if he don't make some type of moves during this year.
Speaking of owners and selling the team, let's start here. If they do fire Weaver, who do you think they should get? And the other thing that I was gonna say was the Dallas Mavericks. I'm blanking on his name right now. So his team, and you said people are talking crazy. So another thing they were saying was that maybe he might come here and be interested in turning the Pistons around like he turned the Mavericks around.
Yep. So yeah, when your team hasn't won a game in all of November, you start saying stuff like that and hoping stuff like that and praying for stuff like that. But it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Gorse is not gonna do a press conference tomorrow talking about how he feels so bad for the city of Detroit and how he might eventually at some point be like, things are gonna change around here. But I'm pretty sure he said that before. I'm pretty sure he said that before. If you Google it, Gorse talking about the Pistons, I'm sure he said that before. So if people want that, hey, more power to them. I hope they get it, but it's not going to mean anything until at the end of the day, we got the best player on that basketball court.
We got the best player on the basketball court?
Yeah, to me, that's what it all boils down to. Like I said, if you don't have the best player on the basketball court, then you fight an uphill battle. And right now, when the Pistons take the floor, nobody on our roster is outshining the opposing team's best player.
Yeah, well, like I said last week, man. Hopefully they can get it together, man. Um, you running ready to go around the league?
Yeah, we go around the league. I don't think we did our picks for last week. We did the
We did.
Thanksgiving games,
Yeah.
and the only one we disagreed on, I know I won that one. I threw it away though, but it was it was Dallas. It was Dallas and
Oh, okay.
Washington. Yeah, you took your
We
football. You took your Commanders.
did I?
Yeah, you did. They was getting 9.5.
Oh, okay. Okay. I took the points. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Unfortunately, they got blew out, but you know what I'm saying. For some reason, Dak is playing well for some reason.
That's a great segue because in 2 minutes, Seattle is going to Dallas, and Seattle's getting 9.5.
Oh, today is Thursday, ain't it? Seattle was getting 9.5.
Seattle's getting 9.5. No Kenneth Walker.
Man, Seattle's been letting me down, man. I can't go with Seattle, dog. I got to go with the Cowboys. I don't like choosing the Cowboys, but I got to go with the Cowboys. They've been playing good. Seattle has been trending down every week. They play worse and worse, and they don't have Kenneth Walker. There's no way I can choose them.
Yeah, man. Dallas is definitely hot right now. This 9.5 is a big number, but when I see stuff like that, man, I'm like, well, shoot, they must know something I don't know. So yeah, take Dallas.
That was a trap last week for me for my Commanders, man.
The Colts are going to Tennessee. Colts are giving 1.
Oh man, that's a hard game because both of those teams are just so mid. But I think that the Tennessee Titans are more mid than the Colts, and I'm going to take the Colts.
We agree on that. I'm tired of Will Levis hurting me, so I'm gonna
just because you said that, he's gonna go out and have an amazing game.
I'm gonna get off the Will Levis train, and I hope he does go out there. But
I don't believe that. I don't believe that he's gonna have an amazing game because he's Will Levis. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, karma.
Detroit going to New Orleans. Oh, look at that. Detroit is giving 4.
Oh, well, I already said my score prediction. I think Detroit wins that game, and I think they cover the spread.
I also think that Detroit wins that game, but I had it 19-23, and that was before I looked at the line. So they kind of on the same page as me. That's a push right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the points because it could be a little bit closer than that. Denver is going to Houston. Houston is giving 3.5.
I understand, and I didn't know this for some reason. I don't know how I didn't know it because I feel like we haven't talked about Denver in forever. But Denver has won 5 games, but I think Denver are frauds, man. I'm gonna go say Denver are frauds, and I'm gonna say that the Texans win this game. I thought the Texans were gonna come back last week and have another last minute win like they've been having the 2 games before that. So I'm gonna roll with the Texans.
I'm going to. Denver has been hot, and yeah, man. Like I said, I'll ride the wave, so I'm gonna stay on the wave. I'll take Denver. Um, but I could easily see Houston blowing them out. Atlanta is man. So Atlanta is going to New York to play the Jets. Atlanta is giving two on the road. Aaron Rodgers was seen back at practice today. Any thoughts on that?
Uh, I think it's all for show. I don't think Aaron Rodgers. Not only do I think maybe if the Jets had played good enough to make it to the playoffs, that we might have seen Aaron Rodgers. But I don't think the Jets are going to make the playoffs. So no matter what Aaron Rodgers does, he's not going to make it back in time to play this season. So it's all for the cameras. I don't think too much of it. And with that being said, I'm gonna take Atlanta to win this game. I forgot who they played last week, but they beat somebody. Didn't they beat somebody significant last week? Didn't they? I forgot who they played last week, but I think they played a good team last week and they won.
Okay. I know Ritter played last week. That's all I can tell you.
So they beat somebody last week.
I'm gonna take the Jets. Simply because I want them to stay relevant, so Aaron Rodgers does come back this year.
I would like to see it. I mean, that makes for good TV, man. I want to see Aaron Rodgers on the field, man. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I got you. The Los Angeles Chargers are going to New England. Patriots are getting 5.5 at home.
The Chargers don't win big games, but the Patriots suck. I think the Chargers take this game. I think they got enough to beat the Patriots.
You're probably gonna beat me this week in these picks, man, because
you said you would never. Huh?
I know. I said I would never take the Patriots again, but I am so tired of the Chargers breaking my heart. And I would rather the Patriots break my heart than the Chargers.
The Chargers only lose big games, man. This is not a big game.
Man, the Chargers lost to the Green Bay Packers. That's all I got to say about that. Arizona is going to Pittsburgh. Arizona's getting 6. Wow.
Man, well, all I got to say about this game is it's unexplainable, but Pittsburgh is unbeatable.
I can't argue.
So I gotta go with Pittsburgh on this game.
That is great analysis. I am a fool to go against it, but I feel like I said it with I think I said on Washington. I said Washington had no business ever giving anybody 8, and I feel the same way. Pittsburgh has no business ever giving anybody 6. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with Arizona.
I don't know how. I don't know why, but Pittsburgh's gonna win that game.
Hey man, they might win that game, but if they win that game by 6, then yeah, I mean that's the Super Bowl champions right there. Miami is going to Washington to play your Commanders, and Washington is getting 9.5.
I honestly think that the Commanders are going to play Miami tough, but I think they're going to lose it at the end. I think it's going to be like a shootout game, and right in the fourth quarter, Miami's going to score 3 touchdowns to make it look ugly.
I like that analysis. We on the same page. I don't know if it's going to be in the fourth quarter. I think it's going to be spread out pretty thoroughly throughout the game. But Miami is due for a blowout, and Washington is just that team that's ready and willing. Divisional battle: Carolina going to Tampa Bay. Carolina is getting 5.5.
Speaking before I get on picking, man. Speaking of Carolina, dog, what are your thoughts on Carolina firing their coach after 1 year, man? I mean, is that proper football etiquette?
And Deuce Staley. Don't forget Deuce Staley. He's fired.
Oh, you had to throw that in there, dog. You such a hater, man. Duke said he will land on his feet. He will be fine. He's a fine football coach.
Sure he is. Sure he is. I'm gonna tweet DeAndre Swift to ask him if he saw that on his way to the Super Bowl. Because apparently he can't run hard or play hurt. But no, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. I mean, it turns into a Deuce Staley. But yeah, the Panthers fired their coach. They said that's the fourth coach in 5 years. I don't know who goes there next. It's got to be somebody who's never who doesn't have a lot of opportunity. It's gonna probably be a young up and coming guy that we never heard of. Like, hey, maybe they said that Eberflus is about to get fired by the Bears, so hey, maybe he goes there and they give him like 2 or 3 years to get it turned around. Because
if you're a coach, if you're a young up and coming coach, is that a job you want? I mean, the owner is firing coaches like crazy. I mean, he brought a guy in, didn't let him get his pick because I heard the coach wanted CJ Stroud, but the owner was like, no, 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 no. We're getting Bryce Young. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, Bryce Young was the number one prospect, but the coach wanted CJ Stroud. And so I think he even said that we're bringing in CJ Stroud. And it seems like kind of like a Jerry Jacobs situation. I mean, not Jerry Jacobs. Jerry Jones situation where the owner, I mean, you can be the head coach, but you don't really have any say. The owner's running that team, and you could come in and be fired in a year after 12 games.
Yeah, I said young and up and coming. I shouldn't have said that. I more so just meant young, and this is the only team that's going to offer you a head coaching job. Like, if you Ben Johnson, obviously you don't go there. You would never go there. I pray to God that Ben Johnson does leave. He goes to the Chargers.
Not to mention they don't even have any picks. They don't have a first round pick. They traded away their pick.
Yeah. So if you get a coach, it's gonna be a young guy that nobody's ever heard of, and that's gonna be his chance to prove himself. Or it's gonna be a coordinator who's like a vet in this league, and he's just going like a Schwartz, like a Jim Schwartz, because he hasn't gotten another gig since he left the Lions. So maybe he takes that job, and he's got nothing to lose. There's got to be a coach that's got nothing to lose.
Makes sense. Yeah. With that being said, I don't even remember who the team you said was going against the Panthers, but they're gonna win.
So we both are on Tampa Bay -5.5. Hopefully, Bryce Young goes out there and plays like he got some life, because he out there playing like a zombie, man.
Well, all the bad things that I said about Carolina, man, I do hope Bryce Young does well. I was high on him during the draft, and I think that he landed in the worst situation possible.
And we can't even trade him to well, I mean, we always got your college teammate over here if y'all want to give up Brian Burns. Remember that. I spread this week, the disrespect. San Francisco going into Philadelphia.
My God.
Philadelphia getting 3 at home.
I'm going to roll with San Francisco. Um, I while Philly has been playing, Philly. I didn't think Philly was as good as they were last time. I mean, last year, and I stick by that. I still don't think they're playing as good as they're playing last year, but I cannot argue with the fact that they have been winning games. But I think San Francisco is a better team than them.
Right. I'm gonna go with Philly.
I know you are.
Of course I am. I think Philly. Philly isn't playing like they were playing last year. Last year they was putting up numbers and they were flashy, but this year they're more of a fill out and then impose their will type of team, which is championship DNA in my opinion. I think they're gonna ride that, and I'm gonna ride them all the way. I think they're gonna make it to the Super Bowl.
As long as the San Francisco got Debo and Christian McCaffrey playing, I think they're gonna do. And plus, since they've added Chase Young, their defense has got that spark that. Not that I'm saying not to compare Bruce Irvin to Chase Young, but he gave that defense the spark they needed because Nick Bosa was having I want to say a bad season, but he wasn't having an elite season. And then Chase Young came in and gave that defense a spark. So I think uh, San Francisco is playing championship ball as well right now.
All right. Cleveland is going to LA to play the Rams. The Rams are given 4.
Um, I feel the same way that you felt about the Patriots. Man, the Rams have let me down too many times this season for me to go with them. I do think that if Matt Stafford was healthy, they would win this game. But hurt Matt Stafford is good for nothing right now. Oh, hurt Matt Stafford is good for nothing, and I think the Browns win this game.
Man, Stafford don't know how to play other than hurt. Come on, man. Give me, give me the Rams. They due for a win, man. If they don't win here, then oh my goodness, what are they doing? Why are we still out here?
If Stafford was healthy, I'll be with you, man. But Stafford is not young anymore, and he can't play hurt anymore.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they can keep him upright this game, but we'll see. They got but shout out to Kyron Williams, man. Won my fantasy for me last week. So hey, they got to run. He got that running game he always wanted. Kansas City is going to Green Bay. Kansas City giving 6.
Kansas City, of course, man. Kansas City comes out kind of flat, a lot of kind of flat every now and then this season, but they're still Kansas City, so I really can't find myself rooting against them.
I think the same way that I think the same way that the Eagles come out, fill you out, and then impose their will. I think Kansas City comes out, fills you out, and then they do Kansas City things. Like I think Philadelphia can like Dan Campbell said, take you in the water, take you on land, that type of thing. I feel like that's the Philadelphia team. I feel like KC will be like, all right, we could do where we want to do it. And then they end up doing the same thing, they do. Like they did that last week against the Raiders. They came out and the Raiders took a lead, and then they came out and they did Kansas City things. And they, but then if you play another team, that might not work. I think it's a close game. I think 6 is a big number on the road. And Green Bay is, I think they won 2 in a row, so I'll go with Green Bay.
Green Bay's been having too much success, man. I think they fuck it up.
Cincinnati is going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's giving 8.5 Monday Night Football.
As 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 much shit as I was talking about Joe Burrow at the beginning of the season, man, Cincinnati is not a good team without him, and I'm gonna have to go with uh damn,
Jacksonville?
what is wrong? Yeah, well, Jacksonville. I'm sorry, I can not remember that word for to save my life. I'm gonna have to go with Jacksonville. Jacksonville will take advantage of the Cincinnati missing their quarterback. Uh, they are up and down team, but when the team has a weakness, they exploit it. And I'm gonna say ETN has been putting Jacksonville on his back, and he's gonna go out and have another hell of a game, and Jacksonville is gonna win that game. Also, Josh Allen has been putting up some good numbers the last couple of games as well.
Trevor Lawrence?
No, Josh Allen. The
Jackson?
huh?
Oh, the defensive.
The defense of Josh Allen.
Got you. Yeah, I hate to take Jacksonville, but I but I'm gonna take Jacksonville. I don't think Jacksonville has I don't think I've been right on Jacksonville all year. But the thing about Jacksonville is they are great at beating bad teams. That's one thing I will say about them. And like you said, Cincinnati without Joe Burrow is definitely a bad team. T. Higgins comes back, and I think they make it interesting in like the first quarter, and that's about it.
Duh, I don't even know the Bengals quarterback name.
I know it, but that's because I'm a fantasy football freak. And I may or may not have thought about picking him up. And I will say you were right. Tommy DeVito was not the answer at quarterback. I did pick up Tommy DeVito and played him, and it did not work out.
Why?
I had faith in the Lions playing good defense and Jordan Love having a bad game, which did not happen. But it's all good because Kyron Williams is amazing. And
the Lions are defense on fantasy?
No. But Jordan Love was my backup quarterback, and he was playing the Lions. I thought he would. I figured he would have a bad game Thanksgiving, But we know how that turned out.
Bad call.
It was a bad call. But like I said, everybody else had a good game, and I won my game. I got 2. I feel like this is my best fantasy. I shouldn't say best. I feel like this team that I have in fantasy is has the most potential to win the championship. And I think this is like going to be the first year that I haven't made the playoffs in like 3 years. I'm at 500, and there's 2 games left in the season, and I kind of need to win both of them.
Yeah, man, I'm done with fantasy, man. You led me the wrong way in fantasy. You didn't give me any pointers. You just threw me in the pan. Say, hey, Bruce, you should sign up for this fantasy league, and then give me any tips or pointers, and destroy my fantasy career. So I blame you.
Pick good players. That's the best advice I could give.
Yeah, you didn't tell me that the quarterbacks was not a good pick in the first round until like 5 years later.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't suggest it. Some people do though. Some people do. The guy in my work league that's number 1. He took Patrick Mahomes number 1 overall. So not number 1 overall, but that was his first pick was Patrick Mahomes, and I think he wasted a pick on that. But he's got the first or second best record in the league right now. So
was it any more games?
No, that was it.
All right. Do you got anything else?
No.
You muffled, man. You muffled.
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead. You in there now?
Hold on a second. I got stuff playing. That's weird. But anyway, yeah. No, I was just saying that the Pistons are playing, so I'm gonna go check them out.
Who are they playing?
They about to get blown out by the Knicks.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, maybe we'll get lucky and they'll pull one out. Go Pistons.
Yeah, more likely they'll get blown out, and maybe the owner does come out. He never come out, but he talks to Troy, and Troy makes a move, or Troy talks. Maybe Troy will talk, and we'll get some type of, some type of bone. They'll throw us some type of bone because Pistons fans need a bone, man. They need something. You gotta give them something.
Something.
The Lions could get it turned around, man. The Pistons, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, historically, bad Lions can do it. Anybody can do it. So I don't know, man. Hopefully, they can do it. It's been mentioned that they're the worst team in sports right now, so maybe they do it. But with that said, man, hopefully the Lions do have better play this week, and they come out and get a victory against the Saints. But with that being said, man, we will see y'all next week, man.
All right.
Peace.